Hi everyone, and welcome back to ELT Coffee Chats. I'm Raffaella Manzo, teacher trainer, course creator, and founder of ProTEFL Institute. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Nina Hanáková. Nina, hi Nina.
Hi Raffaella, ciao.
Ciao. Nina is a language coach, business mentor, conference organizer, podcaster, and founder of Nina English. For more than 20 years, she's been helping teachers, entrepreneurs, and professionals communicate with confidence, grow sustainable businesses, and build careers that stay true to who they are. So today we'll be talking about self-confidence, personal growth, and what it means to be a language teacher in the age of AI. So Nina, welcome to ELT Coffee Chats, and thanks for accepting my invitation. I'm so honored to have you here with us.
Thank you, Raffaella, so much for the invitation, and I cannot wait to dive into this topic because it's very important how we see ourselves in the age of AI these days. Yeah, so
absolutely.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, okay. But before diving into today's topic, could you briefly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your journey into ELT?
Of course, absolutely. So I come from the Czech Republic, which is a post-communistic country, and I spent my childhood during communism when we used to learn Russian. And then when the Velvet Revolution came, I was so happy that we could start learning English as well, because it was quite popular in my family. And so from very young age, I fell in love with English and learning English without course books, which I later implemented into my teaching, into my language school, my methodology. And I traveled a lot. I ended up studying English. And although I never wanted to become an English teacher or language teacher, I'm now a coach, a trainer. I did very quickly after trying out one employment, and I realized it's not for me. And I come from a family of teachers, so it's in the DNA.
It was your destiny. So. Yes. And when you look back, what are some of the biggest changes you've seen in our profession?
Since 2004, when I started teaching full-time and I finished my university studies, I would say the biggest change, of course, is technology and use of technology. Teaching online becoming normal, especially after the pandemic. And also teachers becoming entrepreneurs, especially after the pandemic, yeah? And from the methodology point of view, I would say that students want much more communication rather than perfect grammar. And we are not anymore just the sources of knowledge. We are becoming language coaches, mentors, and that is probably the biggest change besides technology.
Yes, absolutely. And being an entrepreneur, being a mentor, as you mentioned, means being confident. And confidence seems to be at the heart of everything you do. So why do you think so many teachers struggle with self-confidence, even when they are highly competent?
Because these two things are completely different, right? Teachers often think that they need another certificate, another methodology, better English for us non-native speakers, and better branding. But often they already know enough. And I believe that confidence comes from the inside. It comes from keeping promises to yourself, from experience, of course, from seeing students succeed, and from also accepting you won't know everything. And it's okay not to know everything. I believe that many teachers spend years collecting evidence that they are not good enough, instead of not instead of noticing all the evidence that they already are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And as someone says, better done than perfect. So let's start doing something and let's start sharing, because we need
Absolutely.
it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is a never-ending process.
Mm,
This never stops, because especially if you grow your business and you set yourself some challenges, and step out of your comfort zone, this is a never-ending process, building your confidence in business. And especially as we go through phases of life. Yeah, it's very different when you start or when you're in your mid 30s. I am
yeah.
in my late 40s, and that's a very, very different story.
Yeah.
Also, it
Me too.
changes with having a family or aging parents, or having to take care of material things, yeah, mortgage, things like that. So, adulting.
Adulting, yes.
Yeah.
So we can easily and confidently state that building your own business takes courage. So, was there ever a moment when you questioned yourself or your abilities? And if so, what helped you move forward?
Every other day. No, seriously, this is something that, especially as language teaching freelancers, educators, doing it for the first time, because not many people have done it before us. We don't know what we are doing, do we? Being entrepreneurs, languagepreneurs, we don't really know what we are doing, but we are still doing it. So that's why I said maybe every other day, just to support all of you out there, that it's completely normal not to feel confidence all the time, not to feel courage, even motivation sometimes. Especially, as I said, later in life, after so many years, you just have other priorities than work, and that for us teachers is a strange phase to be in, because we would always just do anything for our students. So that's just a general idea of how I do doubt myself, of course, as everyone. But the biggest challenges probably were when I started building my own language school, when I got rid of course books, and I had to be in many discussions with the traditional conservative teachers about that.
Mm,
I had to stand up for what I believed in. And at the same time, I became a single mom. So there were a lot of challenges in my personal life as well. But maybe that's also what made me stronger. And I actually now, when I look back, see that I built my business around my life the way I needed it. And the methodology became very unique and original, just because I needed it that way. The way it was that one week when my daughter was with her dad, I was fully involved in all the courses. And then the other week, when she was with me, I had lots of other people come in. So my students could actually enjoy conversations and learning from lots of other people, lots of other teachers.
it's
And
great.
became very inspirational, and mixed with language coaching, and the courses became very popular. So it took a lot of courage to get
Mm.
through the beginnings. Also, later on, I decided to focus on women only. So I got quite a few haters at first. Now it's very cool to do that, but in the early 2010s, it wasn't. So that I would mention as well, of course, and raising prices. And I think that's a topic for all of us language teachers, all freelancers, especially women. I would say every time I want to raise my prices. I need to gather the courage to do so.
Yeah, that's another topic. We could have another chat about that.
Yes, yeah, that's a big topic. It's one of my favorite topics when I mentor teachers. But I want to say one important thing. I've realized that confidence doesn't come before the difficult decisions. It usually comes afterwards, right?
Yes, I
Not
completely
before.
agree with you. Completely agree with you. Absolutely. And what stood out when you were speaking was when you were saying, okay, I built something that it needed to be in that way because I wanted that way. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so you managed to stay true to yourself while building your business. How do you balance professional ambition with authenticity? Sorry.
I love this question, Rafaela. This is one of my favorite topics, authenticity, staying authentic to yourself, because, everybody else is already taken, as Oscar Wilde says, one of my favorite quotes. I don't think authenticity means not being ambitious. I think it
Yeah,
means building success in a way that still feels like you. Yeah. So
absolutely.
um, I see different people doing things in a different way, and that is okay. I cheer for them. There is no blueprint. Please do not believe the marketers and gurus who tell you
Absolutely.
that there is a blueprint, especially for us highly sensitive people. Many of us in pedagogy are highly sensitive people. Some people grow through algorithms in business, that's okay. But most of us, we grow through people. We grow through word of mouth,
Yeah,
relationships, referrals, yeah? And
absolutely.
consistency and building a community of learners around us and teachers if you want
And
to run
we,
teachers.
we are still learners though. So we teach us, but we're learners at the same time. So it works for us as well. Yeah.
I have just given a talk on that's another favorite topic of mine, building a business through relationships. Some people call it relationship marketing and selling these days. I love this topic so much because it's built on long-term trust. The business is rooted in something deep. And so as I always love to say, slow and steady wins the race. So
Yeah.
being authentic, don't be afraid to be yourself and be a bit quirky because that's how people remember you. People don't come to you because you have all the knowledge, all the certificates in the world. They come to you because they like you. They come to you
Yeah.
because they like your values, your opinions. So that's why I say just share who you are online, share what you believe in. Don't do the word of the day over and over. Of course, sometimes you can throw in a fun language exercise, but let that not be the main content on your socials.
Yeah, so I completely agree. And it's hard to accept sometimes, because we're surrounded by certain kinds of models. And so, above all, for maybe younger teachers, it might be tempting following a certain pattern, because you
Yeah.
think that is the way. Also, artificial intelligence is changing the word of education. And it's doing that in an incredible quick way. And some teachers may see it as a threat, while others see it as an opportunity. What's your perspective?
What would you say, Rafaela? Do you think which side do you think I am on based on what I have said so far? What do you think?
Well, I think that you might say it depends on how you use AI. I mean, it can be a threat if you completely lose your authenticity. It can be an opportunity if you stick to yourself and your creativity. If you don't let AI substitute your creativity and your way of doing, and just use it for a mechanical way. That's what I think you would say, but I don't know if that's true or not. Based on what you said.
I signed that. So I have to talk about that. That's wonderful. However, I think as teachers, we are more creative than any other profession, of course, apart from artists. I think we're artists as well. We create, we design. And now, especially when we have all these online tools like Canva and Jamboard and all these places where we can help our learners make it much more fun. So I actually have always been a huge fan of educational technology, even before the arrival of AI chatbots. Yeah, that's how we see AI now, but AI was here much longer before than, when was it? 3 years ago, 2022, is it already 4 years almost? Yeah, that
Yes.
I came with ChatGPT
4 years ago.
I honestly see it as one of the biggest opportunities we've ever had as teachers. AI has made me a better teacher because it has taken away, many of the tasks that used to consume my time. So instead of spending hours on creating worksheets and adapting materials, I can spend much more time coaching, being in the present moment, asking questions, giving feedback, and helping people think. So AI replaced some tasks, but it cannot replace my role. It's helped me focus on the part of teaching that I love the most, and that's working with people.
Yeah, so I think you already answered my next question as well, I might say. So, which was the role of teacher in the age of AI. But I don't know if you want to get deeper in that one.
Oh yeah, oh yes, it is another favorite topic of mine. You are asking some really good questions, I must say. I believe thanks to AI, we are becoming less like, information providers, as I said before, and more like coaches, guides, and also thinking partners. So nowadays, students can ask AI anything, right? But what AI cannot replace is a teacher who notices something important, who asks the next thoughtful question, who can see the facial expressions, who creates space where people feel safe. So real learning has always happened in relationships, and I don't think that's gonna change. So students can ask AI lots of grammar and vocabulary questions, and we can follow up with, okay, so let's unpack this, or tell me more, or hey, I noticed something that cannot be replaced, because that's where the transformation happens, and that cannot happen via AI. Not yet.
Not yet. Hopefully not in the future as well. Yes, because I think it's something related just to human connections, right, and human qualities. So speaking of which human qualities do you think will become even more valuable in the future?
Well, number one is empathy, of course. I think that cannot be replaced. Yeah. And in our profession, empathy is crucial. It's so important. And the next important quality, I would say, is curiosity. Curiosity, like, have you ever had an AI assistant that was truly curious? You can ask, you can program it to be curious, but it can never ask funny questions that people come up with. So empathy, curiosity, emotional intelligence, of course, that goes hand in hand. Creativity. Have you ever been frustrated with your GPT assistant that it's not what you want. It's not what you would normally create. When you give it a task, okay, be more creative.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always come up with more creative ideas, and I then share it when I'm working on some strategy or a worksheet or something. And of course, AI is very agreeable, but still, I can, and because it says, "Oh my goodness, much better idea." Yeah,
Yes, it happens. I know.
I know.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to mention is critical thinking. The ability to think critically and make wise decisions will become incredibly important. And AI cannot do that because AI gives answers, but we humans decide. Yeah.
We decide and we make questions always. That's we have the ability of always have new questions, you know, and
Yes.
sometimes
Yeah.
the right answers depends on the right question though. So yes, absolutely.
That's how you become successful.
Yeah.
Asking and no matter whether it's material or mental, emotional, wherever you want to evolve, you become successful by asking the right questions,
Yeah.
asking yourself the right.
Yourself. Yes, absolutely yourself. Um, Going back to the authenticity topic, in the age of social media, and it's very common to compare oneself with others online. Okay, and often this means not feeling that you're not doing enough, right? What would you say to a teacher who constantly feels they're falling behind?
That's all of us, I think.
All of us.
Comparisitis, it's called. Yeah. I would just remind them that they are comparing other people's behind the scenes with, sorry, their own behind the scenes with somebody else's highlight reel. That's how we all do it. We see people on social media or even in real life on the outside, and we think that that's all that there is to it. But we forget to look at our story and remember how much there is behind the scenes. Yeah, so let's not forget that the internet rewards visibility, but visibility is not the same as impact. I have worked with brilliant teachers who hardly ever post online. And I have worked with teachers who looked incredibly successful online, but they weren't happy. Success
Hmm.
doesn't have to look the same for everyone. So I would just say build a career that fits your values, your energy, and the kind of life that you want to live, not somebody else's version. I had to go through this myself big time. As I mentioned earlier, I became a single mom when my daughter was 4, and I had to simply live with the fact that I don't have the capacity for things that I used to. And I am okay with it because the most important role in my life is to be a mother, and work comes second, you know. So just make sure that you look at your priorities and you don't, spiral down the rabbit hole.
Yes, so that's a great piece of advice you're giving everyone. Thank you. And we're towards the end of our conversation, unfortunately, Nina. So finally, if you could leave teachers with just one message about confidence and their future in this profession, what would it be?
I would say this. I would absolutely would like to encourage you to spend your career authentically and not trying to be someone else and to become somebody else, because this profession already has thousands of copies and it only has one you. And you know, technology will keep changing and new tools will come and go, but people will always need teachers who are curious, who are kind, who are encouraging, and genuinely interested in helping others grow. So your value doesn't disappear because technology changes. In many ways, I think it becomes even more important. And perhaps that's what confidence really is, not believing that you are perfect, but trusting that who you already are and what you have is valuable to offer. So that's
Nina,
what I would say.
thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been such a pleasure talking with you, really. And I think that today's conversation is a wonderful reminder that while technology will continue to evolve, confidence, authenticity, and human connection will always remain at the heart of great teaching and relationship. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your experience and your perspective with us. And thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you, Rafaela.
I really hope today's conversation has left you with feeling inspired and perhaps a little bit more confident about your journey as a teacher. And that's all for today's episode of ELT Coffee Chats. And until next time, thank you again. Take care. Bye, everyone. Bye, Nina. Thank you.